Why are y'all supporting Bobby Sullivan for sheriff?
Well, I had the pleasure of working with Bobby for 20 plus years. He retired in 2007, and I started in 1985, and so I worked with Bobby for 22 years and kept in touch with him after he retired. And Bobby is just one of the sharpest, smartest people I've ever dealt with. His integrity is beyond reproach, and I just think he would make an excellent sheriff for Hernando County. And I had the opportunity also to work with Alvin Nienhuis, the appointed one that was put in by the governor, and I have numerous incidents that I personally am aware of and issues that happen in Pasco County that concern me, and it scares me to think of him being a permanent sheriff up here. I believe that he's going to be bad for the deputies, which in turn is going to be bad for the community, and it's definitely a serious concern of mine.
Can you give us a specific instance?
I can give you several things that concern me. The first one is in Pasco County recently there was a lawsuit that was settled for over $2 million involving 6 members of the sheriff's office. For example, 2 of those people that were terminated were with the sheriff's office for 25 plus years. They didn't get appointed to those positions. They were captains. One of them was Sandy Reed, the other one was Skip Stone. And neither one of them started as a captain. They started back in the 70s as deputies, or one of them started, I believe, as a dispatcher, worked their way through the ranks for over 25 years, and were discarded after over 25 years to make way for Marco Rubio's people to come on board. So it wasn't because they did anything wrong. Their records are impeccable if you look at it. They were terminated because of political reasons, to bring in more political people for the sheriff's office at the time, and Alvin Nienhuis was instrumental in that incident. And that's a serious concern of mine, when we're going to start getting rid of people, not because of cause for not doing their job right, but because we want to make room for political hacks that need to come in and take their place. That's a concern. Excuse me. And to continue where I left off, another thing that concerned me was back a few years ago when back when the last election was coming around. One of the things that the sheriff and at the time Colonel Nienhuis did was they were very explicit in that they stopped search warrants and Vice and Narcotics from doing search warrants in Pasco County. And it got to the point where the drug houses and the drug usage was going through the roof, and the Vice and Narcotics lieutenant at the time was Bobby Sullivan. He went in and pretty much told the colonel at the time, this has got to stop. We've got to start serving search warrants. We've got to start going into these places and cleaning this up, because obviously the drugs fuels other crimes, and our crime was getting out of control. And he was trying to say, we got to get in there. We got to do something about this. Not only was Bobby telling him that, the SWAT team commander was, and at the time the captain in charge of the unit was telling him the same thing, saying we've got to go in there and do this. And I know because they personally told me about it at the time. And they wouldn't do it. It was all about, they were more concerned about if they went in and shot or killed somebody or hurt somebody, they were afraid that it might hurt their chances at re-election, and that was all that mattered to them. It wasn't worrying about what to do about the crime in Pasco County. It was all about how can we make sure we get re-elected. And that's a serious concern. I mean, first and foremost needs to be the citizens and how to protect them. That's what we're here for. That's what matters to me. A couple other things that are concerning to me was there was a female deputy, and I'm not going to name her name, that I'm friends with, and I've known her for many years, that works at the sheriff's office in Pasco. And that female deputy at the time was over 8 months pregnant, and Alvin Nienhuis had a personal issue with her, and he had some problems with her personally, that he didn't care for her. And he went out of his way to call her in when she was over 8 months pregnant on light duty, sat her in his office with a human resource director on one side and the attorney for the sheriff's office on the other side, berated this young lady over the fact that he had repeatedly sent out letters to citizens until he could find somebody that would send a response back saying that she had done, maybe didn't talk politely to somebody or made some little minor mistake that, normally a sergeant would sit down and say, hey, look, somebody said this, you need to do that, or you correct it at a lower level. But because he had an issue with this female, he called her in and had these 2 people, very important people, sitting around them and surrounding this girl until she was crying. When she left the meeting, she called me up, hysterical crying, and then went to the doctor because she was spot bleeding. and because of this whole incident. That's seriously concerning to me. It's the majority of people, from Pasco County, I guess you'd have to go down there and talk to them, but the ones that I know, he is definitely not a fan favorite in Pasco County, let's put it that way. I know that, I was told that, by Bobby, in fact, that Bobby was eating lunch at a restaurant when Bob White came in, and Bob White made the comment to him that the reason why he brought Chris Nacco in Pasco County was because he didn't have anybody that he felt was suitable to replace him as sheriff in Pasco County. Well, that doesn't say much about Alvin Nienhuis if the sheriff of Pasco County, who worked with him for, 20 years between Food and Beverage and Pasco County, felt that he wasn't the person to fill the shoes of him in Pasco County, and sent him, and a deal was worked out to get him out of the way, get him up here to Hernando County so that they can make way for Chris Nacco to be the sheriff of Pasco County. So, that's just some of the stories. I'm sure you could talk to other people and you'll find many, many, many more stories than that. But it's definitely concerning, and my only motive, I'm retired from Pasco County, retired full benefits, I have no axe to grind. I have no personal vendetta against Alvin Nienhuis in any way, shape, or form. You pull my record, you'll find I have an impeccable record at Pasco County. I'm strictly doing it because I believe in Bobby Sullivan, and I believe he's good for Hernando, and I don't believe that Alvin Nienhuis is going to be good for Hernando, for Hernando County. I really don't. So.
Well, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.